In this video, we're going to take a look at the non-compliance reporting process as it relates to PlanGrid and the NCR forms that need to be filled out in order to properly document an NCR. We're going to try and do this kind of comprehensively here, looking at it from the PlanGrid and the PlanGrid task side, and then also from the specific NCR form that needs to be completed. So the first thing, of course, that we're going to do if we have an issue come up on the project is identify the issue and then notify the project team as appropriate. So that should include, depending on who identifies it, the senior inspector on the project, the construction manager, and the area construction engineer, depending on the severity of the issue. We're also going to make a decision on whether or not an NCR needs to be issued. That should be a project team decision. And then if one is issued, we're going to go through the process that I'm about to outline here. The first thing that we're going to do is from the project homepage, we're going to go to the tasks module within PlanGrid. We're then going to select create task right here, this green button. And we're going to give the task a name. For this particular issue, this is a pavement marking issue. We're going to set the status to open. We're going to mark that as an issue, and then we're going to assign this to personnel on the project. I'm going to assign this to the regular inspector, and then I'm going to make sure that both that the ACE on the project is watching this issue. We're going to pretend that Tom is the regular inspector and Ben is the ACE, and then we're going to say this is Route 1 as our location here. We're going to give this a start date of either when the issue was observed or when we are issuing the NCR, and then we're going to give it a finish date of when it needs to be corrected. This is a project team decision. I'm going to set it for 2 weeks in this particular case. When we set the stamp for these issues, we're going to assign it a stamp that makes sense based on the issue. So in this case, it's a pavement marking issue, so we're going to mark this as a pavement marking stamp. And then we're going to add it, and this is very important here, we're going to add it to the non-compliance reports list. This specifically allows us to track non-compliance reports separately and in a more consolidated and consistent manner. So we're going to add it to that list. If we have a sheet that we can associate this with, we're going to do that. So I'm just going to pick an example sheet in this project here, but generally speaking, what we're going to do is we're going to assign this, if this were a paving project, we'd assign it to the cut sheet associated with that specific route. Then we're going to give this a description right here. As you can see here, I've given a detailed description. I've said pavement markings not properly aligned. Markings deviate from proper alignment between 4 and 9 inches for approximately 1/4 mile along Route 1 between Pine Street and Maple Street. See attached images. Corrective action will be required. Once I've filled all of this out here, all the basic elements of my task, I'm going to push create. So I've created my task. I'm going to come back and I'm going to push this add button right here to add photos. I'm going to navigate to the file where I have my photos and select the picture that I want to add. You can see the picture there. There's definitely some deviation of my pavement markings. You push finish and then you push save. And that task has now been created. The next step that I'm going to take is I am going to fill out my NCR form. So the NCR form is the tool that we use to notify the contractor and get their acknowledgement of the issues at hand. This needs to be filled out every time we're issuing an NCR. A lot of this information is the same as what goes in our task when we set that up in PlanGrid. It's worth noting here that if all of the information is filled out well in PlanGrid, the ACE or the construction manager on the project may elect not to put excessive information in the NCR form and just fill out the basics and then attach the task report to the NCR. So here you can see I filled out this form completely. It's matching the information on my task report. So what I'm going to do is I am going to save this file as a PDF. So I've saved this file as a PDF here. You can see I've referenced the attached documentation for further details. That's the task report that we're going to add as part of this documentation. So So to export a task, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that task. I'm going to push export selected. I'm going to give that a name. I'm going to make sure that the box that says include photos is checked, and I'm going to push generate. Now I'm going to push download report. That report's going to download. And then I'm going to save that report or copy that to an appropriate location. So now I have that. We can take a look at what that looks like real quickly here. You can see that what we've done is we've included the PlanGrid system, includes the description, includes everyone that's tied to this, and then also on the next page here includes a photo of the issue. It will include the time and date stamp of that photo as well. And if you have a lat and long associated with it, this photo did not, it will include that as well. The next step I'm going to take is I'm going to either provide both of these two documents, the NCR form and the pavement marking alignment form, to my contractor. Ideally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine those files. I'm going to press combine there. This can be done in Bluebeam or Adobe. And this isn't a requirement, but it is nice if you can combine these things. Okay, so what I've done now is I've combined the task report and the NCR form into one single document here. This needs to be signed by both the project inspector and the project superintendent. All that relevant information is included. I can save this to the project files. Once this has been signed and the contractor has taken the required corrective action, I'm going to go back into PlanGrid, document the corrective action that has been taken, and close out the task. So we're going to go do that now. So from here, I am back in PlanGrid. I'm going to look at my task right here. I can just push this edit button to look at this task. I'm going to come down here and in the comment section. So I've provided a comment here that says corrective action was taken by the contractor on June 11th, 2022. Markings meet specifications. See photo of corrected work. You push enter to enter that comment into the task. And then I'm going to add a photo of this. We're going to say that that's the picture of the corrected work. I'm going to add that. And I'm going to push finish right here. That's the corrected work. And then I'm going to come back up to the top. And under status here, if we're happy with the resolution of this issue, I'm going to push closed. I'm going to push save, and this issue will be marked as resolved.